Have you ever woken up with strange signs that made you pause and wonder if something serious was happening inside your body? Mornings often feel calm and ordinary, yet experts warn that some of the earliest clues of hidden illness can appear right after waking. And here's the surprising part. These small signs, often brushed off as harmless, could in fact be your body's first warning of something much bigger. The early hours of the morning might feel quiet and harmless, but according to cancer specialists, certain symptoms that appear right after waking are not always as innocent as they seem. These aren't just minor inconveniences to ignore. When they show up again and again without a clear cause, they could be your body sounding an early alarm. In this video, we're going to explore 5 specific signs that may point to an underlying cancer that has gone undetected. The goal isn't to frighten you, it's to empower you with knowledge. Because when certain cancers are caught early, the chances of successful treatment, control, and peace of mind rise dramatically. Each sign we'll discuss comes from real-world observations, drawn from doctors who have seen these patterns repeat in their patients time and time again. While no single symptom alone guarantees a cancer diagnosis, ignoring them altogether could delay a life-saving discovery. That's why awareness matters so much. Stay with us until the very end, because the 5th sign is something most people assume is just part of aging or stress. Yet in the right context, it's one of the strongest early indicators that doctors take seriously. Let's begin with the first warning sign: persistent morning fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. Everyone expects to feel tired once in a while. As we age, it's easy to blame a restless night, stiff joints, or simply the natural effects of getting older. But there's a big difference between feeling a little groggy and waking up completely drained every single morning. No matter how many hours you've spent in bed, if you find yourself rising day after day with a deep exhaustion that lingers, one that doesn't fade after rest, doesn't ease with a cup of coffee, and doesn't lift even after moving around, your body may be sending a louder signal. This kind of fatigue is not ordinary tiredness. It's often described as a heaviness in the limbs, a dullness in the mind, or a sense that you never really slept at all. When this becomes your daily reality for weeks or months, despite doing all the right things, eating well, going to bed on time, and managing stress, it's worth asking your doctor for a closer look. Persistent fatigue like this can be an early warning sign of several cancers, including leukemia, lymphoma, or certain solid tumors. The reason is that these conditions can disrupt the body at a cellular level. They may interfere with how your blood carries oxygen, alter hormone balance, or trigger silent inflammation that drains energy without you even realizing it. Let me share an example. Paul, age 74, was active, walked daily, and rarely had complaints about his health. But gradually, he began sleeping 10 hours a night and still woke up exhausted. His wife noticed he was napping more often, avoiding his usual hobbies, and seemed foggier in the mornings. At first, they dismissed it as just another part of aging, but when Paul finally went in for blood tests, the results revealed early-stage lymphoma. Thankfully, because it was caught in time, he was able to start treatment immediately. His story is a powerful reminder that persistent fatigue isn't always just age. Sometimes, it's your body asking you to dig deeper. Within just a few months, Paul's heavy morning fatigue began to lift once treatment started. Of course, not every kind of tiredness points to cancer. But if your mornings consistently feel harder than they should, and that deep exhaustion doesn't go away with more rest, better sleep, or simple lifestyle changes, it's something that deserves attention. Remember, you know your body better than anyone else. If something feels off, don't wait for it to get worse. Don't wait until you're too tired to even bring it up. Speak with your doctor, ask for a proper checkup, trust your instincts, especially in those quiet morning hours right after waking, because your body often whispers before it shouts. Sign 2. Night sweats that soak clothes or bedding. Sweating at night is something everyone experiences now and then. Maybe you used too many blankets, or the room was too warm. That's normal. But when you consistently wake up drenched, soaked through your pajamas or sheets to the point of needing to change clothes or bedding, it's a sign you shouldn't ignore. These aren't mild, occasional sweats. They're the kind that disrupt your rest, leaving you clammy and chilled once the moisture dries. If this happens again and again without a clear reason, like menopause, infection, or simply room temperature, it becomes a major red flag. Doctors have long recognized that drenching night sweats, especially in older adults, can be an early warning sign of certain cancers, most notably lymphomas. That's because cancers like lymphoma and other blood-related conditions often interfere with your immune system, which in turn disrupts the way your body regulates temperature. You're not just overheating from blankets or a warm room. You're experiencing internal chemical changes you can't control. Night sweats linked to cancer aren't random, one-time events. They tend to build up over time. And since many older adults either sleep alone or simply grow used to it, they don't always realize how often it's happening. Some don't even think to mention it at their next doctor's visit. It gradually becomes the new normal, until one day it's not. Let me share the story of Judith, age 76. She assumed her thermostat was to blame. She bought a new fan, switched to lighter cotton sheets, and even opened the window at night, yet nothing worked. She still woke up drenched. Finally, her primary care doctor ordered some tests and referred her to a specialist. That's when they discovered an early-stage blood cancer. What made her case so striking was that she had no other symptoms, no cough, no pain, no unexplained weight loss, just those relentless night sweats. The good news is that because Judith paid attention to something most people ignore, she got her diagnosis early and was able to act quickly. So here's the takeaway. If you're waking up wet from sweat more than once a week, especially if you can't explain why, don't dismiss it. Track how often it happens. Write it down. Bring it up with your doctor. Night sweats may not seem alarming on their own, but in the bigger picture, they can be one of your body's earliest and most honest cries for help. And if you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment the number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform, inspire, and guide you. Now, let's move forward. Sign 3. Unexplained weight loss, often most noticeable in the morning. Imagine waking up and realizing your waistband feels looser, your pajamas hang a little baggier, or your face looks thinner in the mirror. At first, this might seem like a pleasant surprise, especially if you weren't even trying to lose weight. But when those changes happen without effort and without a clear reason, it could be your body quietly signaling that something isn't right. Unintentional weight loss, meaning you haven't changed your eating habits, increased your physical activity, or skipped meals, is one of the most commonly overlooked early warning signs of cancer. For many older adults, these changes are most obvious in the morning. That's the time when the stomach is empty, the face appears leaner, and the fit of your waistband feels more noticeable. You might even realize that your watch or ring suddenly slides around your hand more than before, and yet, because this kind of weight loss doesn't cause pain, and sometimes even feels like a benefit, many seniors dismiss it as a harmless change. But here's the reality. Cancers in the pancreas, colon, stomach, or lungs can interfere with the way your body processes nutrients. They may disrupt your metabolism, block proper absorption, or trigger inflammation that burns through energy even when you're at rest. The outcome is weight loss that appears effortless, but it is far from harmless. Take the example of Henry, age 80. For years, his mornings started the same way: eggs, toast, and a banana for breakfast. Nothing in his diet or activity level had changed, yet over time, his clothes began to hang more loosely, and his family noticed he was thinning without trying. But then Henry noticed something troubling. His pants began slipping down more easily, and within just a month, he had to tighten his belt by 2 notches. At first, he brushed it off as nothing more than aging, but during a visit, his daughter pointed out how much thinner his neck looked. Concerned, she encouraged him to get checked. After some tests, doctors discovered early pancreatic cancer. The diagnosis was serious, but because it was caught early, Henry had more treatment options and, most importantly, more precious time with his family. This kind of weight loss often begins gradually. 5 pounds here, 10 pounds there. You may not notice the change yourself until your clothes start telling the truth for you. That's why it's so important not to ignore what you see in the mirror. If your body looks noticeably different and you can't explain why, don't assume it's just a positive change. Pay attention, especially if you've lost muscle, if your appetite has dropped for no clear reason, or if your strength feels diminished, even though your daily routine hasn't changed. The best approach is to keep track. Weigh yourself once a week. Notice how your clothes fit each morning. These subtle changes may be your body's way of speaking to you, and they deserve to be heard. Unexplained weight loss doesn't always mean cancer, but it should always lead to a conversation with your doctor. Because in situations like this, you're not just losing pounds, you could be losing vital time. Sign 4. Blood and saliva, or a persistent morning cough. Most people don't pay much attention to what comes up in their mouth first thing in the morning. A little dryness, a cough, or some phlegm seems normal. But if you start noticing blood in your saliva, especially in the morning, or a cough that refuses to go away without a clear cause, that's something you should never ignore. This type of cough is often dry, sits low in the chest, and tends to be most noticeable when you first wake up. At first, it's easy to dismiss. You might assume it's allergies, acid reflux, or just your throat clearing after a night of rest. But when a cough lingers for weeks, especially if it's consistently worse in the morning, it may be more than just a minor irritation. And if that cough ever produces blood, even a small streak, it's not something to put off. Blood-tinged saliva, particularly if it appears rusty in color or faintly pink, is always a sign that should be taken seriously and brought to your doctor's attention. It doesn't matter how old you are or how well you feel otherwise. This is one of those symptoms you cannot afford to ignore. Several cancers, including those of the lung, throat, or esophagus, can create irritation, inflammation, or bleeding in areas that drain overnight while you sleep. You might not notice anything unusual during the day, but when you've been lying down for hours, fluid has a chance to collect. As soon as you get up, your body naturally clears it out, which is why many people only notice blood or coughing in the morning. And because it happens at such a specific time, they often assume it's minor or unrelated to anything serious. Take the example of Linda, age 67. She brushed off her raspy morning cough as seasonal allergies, something she thought she had dealt with for years. But one morning, when she spit into the sink, she noticed a faint pink streak in her saliva. That single moment was enough for her to finally mention it to her doctor. After a scan, they found a small growth in her right lung. Fortunately, it hadn't spread yet. And because Linda acted quickly, she was able to begin treatment early. All because she chose not to ignore what many people would dismiss as a harmless sign. It's easy to brush off a cough, especially if you've smoked in the past, deal with postnasal drip, or live in a dry climate. But when that cough keeps waking you up at night, lingers longer than 3 weeks, or brings up anything tinged with blood, it's time to get it checked. And pay attention to related signs as well. If your voice sounds hoarser in the morning, if you find yourself clearing your throat constantly, or if you notice a tightness in your chest that gradually eases as the day goes on, these aren't random annoyances. They're part of the same picture your body may be trying to show you. Does that mean it's always cancer? Not at all. But it might be your chance to catch something early, before it has time to grow stronger, spread, and become harder to treat. Listening to your body in these moments could make it all the difference. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment the number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss future videos. Your support allows us to continue creating helpful content to inform, inspire, and guide you. Now, let's move forward. Sign 5. Lumps or swollen lymph nodes noticed during morning routines. One of the most overlooked signs of cancer isn't loud, painful, or dramatic. It's often quiet, subtle, and discovered by accident. For many people, it's found during the calm, ordinary moments of their morning routine. As you wash your face, run your hands over your neck, brush your hair, or apply deodorant, you may suddenly notice a small lump beneath the skin. It could appear on the side of your neck, under your jawline, in your armpit, or even near the groin. And if it doesn't hurt, it's very easy to dismiss. But here's the truth. These small, painless lumps should never be ignored. Swollen lymph nodes, especially the firm, painless kind that don't go away, are among the most common early signs of cancer. They're often linked to cancers of the lymphatic system, like lymphoma or leukemia, but can also signal breast cancer, lung cancer, or cancers of the head and neck. To understand why, it helps to remember what lymph nodes do. They act like filters for the body, trapping viruses, bacteria, and even abnormal cells. When something is wrong inside, your lymph nodes may swell. If it's just an infection, the swelling usually comes with tenderness and often fades within a week or two. But cancer-related lymph nodes are different. They're firm, fixed in place, and they persist over time rather than shrinking. Consider Raymond, age 72. One morning, while shaving, he noticed a small bump just under his chin. Because it didn't hurt, he quickly forgot about it. But a month later, the bump was still there, and it had grown slightly larger. This time, he decided to tell his doctor. After tests and a biopsy, he was diagnosed with early-stage non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Because he paid attention and caught it early, his treatment was far more effective, and his recovery was much smoother. The lesson is simple but powerful. Don't wait for pain to take action. Cancer rarely causes pain in its earliest stages. Instead, it whispers. It hides. It shows itself as a quiet lump you might feel while buttoning your shirt, shaving, or rubbing lotion into your skin. That's why mornings matter. Use those daily routines as an opportunity to check in with your body. If you notice a swelling, a new firmness, or a lump that just doesn't feel right, write it down, keep track, and bring it up with your doctor. And if a lump or swelling lasts more than 2 weeks, get it checked. This isn't about panicking, it's about paying attention. Your hands may discover the truth long before pain ever does, and what you decide to do next could make all the difference. Now, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Waking up each morning should be a moment when your body feels refreshed, renewed, and ready to face the day. It's supposed to be the time when your energy resets, when your mind feels clearer, and when you're prepared to move forward with confidence. But sometimes, it's in those first few minutes after opening your eyes that your body reveals its most important messages. Persistent fatigue that makes no sense. Night sweats that leave your sheets soaked. Weight that slips away without effort. A cough you've started to expect every morning, or a lump you didn't notice until your hand brushed against it. Individually, none of these signs prove cancer. But when they linger, repeat themselves, or appear without any clear explanation, they're signals that deserve your attention. Ignoring them could mean missing your body's early warning system, while listening could mean catching something in time to make a real difference. They're worth mentioning, and they're absolutely worth having your doctor take a closer look. Because the truth is, cancer doesn't always shout. More often, it whispers quietly through the daily routines you've done for years, through the mornings you thought were ordinary. If you learn to listen early, carefully, and without fear, you give yourself the best chance of catching it before it grows into something much more dangerous. You are not powerless in this. In fact, the more you pay attention, the more you speak up, and the more you trust that your instincts matter, the stronger you become in protecting your health. Remember, your awareness is one of your greatest defenses. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned from this video and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts truly matter to us, and reading your comments gives us both encouragement and inspiration to keep creating valuable content for you. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support helps us continue producing meaningful content that informs, guides, and inspires seniors to live healthier, more confident lives. Wishing you all good health, happiness, and peace. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss the next video.